such a thing as the perfect body type. Over the past, 4 years, I have been investigating different body type systems, how they work and how they make your outfits better. And this has been one of the underlying questions that I see again and again. In this video, I'm going to break down my thoughts on whether there is such a thing as the perfect body type, how body type standards have changed across history, and where I fall in this question in 2025. My name is Ellie-Jean. I help women to discover their unique type of beauty, and I also explore costumes from your favorite TV shows and films. The fruit or body shape system is the body type system you're probably most familiar with. We tend to use a mix of the two, so the rectangle, apple, pear, triangle, and hourglass are the 5 we tend to talk about the most. The idea of this system is that you would adjust the proportions of an outfit to create the illusion of an hourglass. So in this system, the idea is that the hourglass is the perfect body type. There is absolutely no reason for this to be true. There are various theories about symmetry being preferred, but I found in my experience that this system doesn't even create outfits which look particularly flattering or harmonious. It creates this real negative feeling around your body because there is this constant ideal that you're supposed to be living up to. I find that this doesn't foster creativity, self-love, or even attractive outfits. The truth is, there is something to be celebrated about every person's unique body type, and the systems that I've discovered in the past 4 years seem to much better serve this idea, and the women who use them tend to have outfits which feel much more harmonious, look incredible, and make them much happier at the end of the day and more confident, which is what fashion is supposed to do. There are different body types which have been seen as ideal throughout history, which just shows that this concept that there is one ideal body type isn't true, because it shifts over time. In ancient Greece, a fuller figure with a larger bust is celebrated on statues. Wide hips were considered ideal. In the Renaissance, again, we see soft, rounded bodies with full hips. In the Victorian era, we saw this obsession with tiny waists, to the point where, did you know, they actually photoshopped many of their images, not in the same way we would today, but through various techniques where they will scratch at the photographs to create a smaller appearing waist. Facetune is not a new concept. But by the 1920s, the flapper era was celebrating women's independence and a more boyish look with shorter hair and a more straight figure. Over the last 100 years, we've seen that trend flip-flop back and forth almost decade to decade. They had bigger things to think about really in the 40s, but by the 50s, we were celebrating again a more fuller figure with a more full chest and hips and a small waist, which matched Dior's new look. The 60s, this swung the other way as again, female liberation became more at the forefront of culture and the political conversation, and people like Twiggy started becoming fashionable who had more straight shapes. In the 1970s, I feel like height became an attractive feature. A taller woman tended to be more celebrated. The 80s, you get the supermodel body was really on trend. And in the 90s, we just saw skinny, and that continued through to the 2000s when I grew up and I was a child and I saw my own mum struggle with some of those ideas. And in the 2010s, when I was a teenager, we saw the Kim Kardashian body type become more fashionable with wider hips, a small waist. So it's constantly going back and forth in the same way that all the fashion cycle does. What this shows is there is no real perfect body type because everybody is chasing something different as time changes. In the 2000s, to say you had a big bum would be a huge insult. In the 2010s, it's a compliment. With Ozempic, I think we're seeing a rise again in skinniness being on trend, especially in Hollywood. Although I think it's something that's almost exclusive to Hollywood, so like that hasn't quite caught up in the rest of society yet. I want to focus kind of on the 90s and 2000s. The idea of thinness was so huge and so explicit for maybe the first time ever. It was in every magazine you picked up. There were so many TV shows about weight loss. Social media was in its early stages. I just feel like the message of thinness was just everywhere. Trini and Susanna are a really good example of the 2000s perspective on hiding your flaws and insecurities. I love Trini Woodall. She's one of my heroes. But when you watch What Not to Wear, it was so clearly a different time. And when you read the books, there is just a different attitude around how dressing empowers you. You can see the underlying message that they were trying to get across, that fashion can make you feel better about yourself. But it came from this perspective of your body needs to change and there is something fundamentally wrong with you and we're going to use clothes to hide that. And there are so many limitations to fashion when that's all it is. My context of fashion, that was a little bit before me because I was just a child. I started thinking about fashion and my body in the 2010s and 2020s. I would say during this era, fashion trends were so central to the conversation, especially late 2010s, 2020s. Like I think of COVID era as very much trend. And even before that, there is this kind of obsession with looking modern, cool, timeless. That was more at the center of the conversation rather than dressing for your body type. Because of the intensity of talking about your body in the 90s and the 2000s, it became a bit of a taboo, no topic during the 2010s. And as a result, we saw something which I also found to be really unhelpful. The concept that if you just dress in this trendy, modern, cool, timeless outfit, you will look good. Don't think about your body. Don't think about what's unique about you or different about you. Just dress in this outfit that I'm trying to sell you and you will look good. And there was this complete lack of teaching about you and your individual features. And I know with myself, this led to this feeling of inadequacy that you're not really allowed to speak about because you put on this outfit that someone has said is going to work on you because it looks cool on them, and it looks completely wrong and it doesn't feel like you and doesn't make you look good or feel good because it's not right for you and your features. In 2021, I discovered kibbe body types. It's the first system I had ever discovered or heard of which does not push one ideal body type and celebrates the differences between women's figures. It highlighted different celebrities with different body types and showed how each of these women are beautiful but completely different to one another. The kibbe system has 10 image identities based on things which celebrate your unique appearance. I like to think of it as a mix between your essence and your body shape. What's unique and special about the way you look, essentially. It showed me that someone like Sofia Vergara highlights her beauty in a completely different way to someone like Audrey Tautou. After learning about kibbe for a long time and working with the system, I developed my own called the Body Matrix. And it came out of my experience of working with kibbe as I had things that I wanted to say that were slightly different. I love the principle of honoring your unique features in your outfits to echo the things that are different about you in your clothing to create this sense of harmony. Instead of focusing on hiding your flaws or shape-shifting into some idea of the perfect body, instead, you focus on the things about you which are unique and learn to love those elements of yourself. In my system, there are 3 categories: width, length, and shape. So you might be a narrow, short, round, a wide, long, straight, or even a medium, 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 and so on. Because of the context of the 2000s and the 2010s, sometimes people panic when they hear a word like wide. It can take you aback because you're so used to being told in the 2000s that you're supposed to be thin or narrow, although width has nothing to do with your weight whatsoever. But there was this concept that you needed to take up less space, that your body needed to be smaller in every way in the 2000s. And of course the 2010s has this context of you're not supposed to speak about your body at all. So hearing these terms can take you aback. There's nothing unattractive about having width. In fact, most supermodels have width. It's completely normal and very attractive. And that's just one example. I've found over the years that any term you use to describe a body can be turned against you. Narrow, long, straight is the opposite of wide, short, round. A lot of people panic about wide, short, round specifically. But actually, narrow, long, straight also has negative connotations. Taylor Swift is a narrow, long, straight. And I've seen lots of people criticize Taylor, especially during this engagement, for her body type, just for her literal, the thing that is unique about her. Whereas I know other people would love to look like Taylor Swift. So no matter how you describe a woman's body, it can feel negative, but actually that's why I see some power in using these terms, because it takes the power away from them and you get to choose what that means. If you have width, you get to choose that that's a good thing and not a bad thing. If you have straight lines, you get to choose that's a good thing, not a bad thing. If you're rounded, it's a good thing. And in fact, you can view these things as completely neutral. They don't have to be good if that doesn't resonate with you. It's just the facts of the situation. If you have broad shoulders, you have broad shoulders. If you have a large bust, you have a large bust. None of these things are good or bad. They're simply facts of existence. And we shouldn't be so afraid to name these things, because then we can work with them and create outfits that we really love, because you're a sculpture, you're a piece of art. And if you don't understand the foundation and the base that you're working with, creating an outfit is going to be much, much harder. So is there a perfect body type? I would say the ideal body type is the one you have. It's the one you are given. So you should embrace it. You're not getting rid of it anytime soon. It's going to stay with you. You may as well love it. Embracing your body can be really exciting and empowering, opening up doors of fashion that you never even knew existed. And with the right clothes, you can enhance your features and look even more stunning than you already are. I hope you found this video interesting. If you would love to know more about our body matrix system, I will leave some links in the description, so make sure to go and check them out. I will see you next time.